Yeah, the money. Um, this video is going to take a long time. You know, it's going to take our time, but I would advise you pay attention to this video that we are about to do. Um, in our last video, I told you that I'm going to be running the back end because after our user, this is our, our cards. I didn't even remember to create the back button, but you just understand what I mean. I've taught you how to do the routing, so you can do it by your own self. So this is our front end. All that we've been doing is the front end. So now I now I am the developer. I developed this thing. So how do I get whatever my user is getting from my application? Once my user clicked on add to carts, let's say they are buying, like, let's say 4 items. So we have the 4 items in our carts. These are the 4 items. In case you are just joining us, we've done previous videos on you know um, e-commerce. So now that we are here, our user bought 4 items. How do we get this thing that our user has gotten? How do we get the information that we as in the bought? As how do we get the items that you bought? So now this is where the back end comes in. Yes, this is where back end comes in. I I do see some people, they will tell you they are front end developer, while the other ones will say they are back end developer. As for this video, we are doing both the front end and the back end. That shows that we are a full stack developer, since we can do the front end and the back end. So if you're watching my video for the first time, please kindly, subscribe to my channel on YouTube, while on Facebook you can comment and share. I really love it to be shared, so that it will get to so many people that are looking for a tutorial like this. So let's jump into um it. Now this is our front end, so we want to do the back end. What we are going to do here is I'm sorry, let me I want to go to our code editor. So now we have our code here. So let me collapse this. This is actually the front end. Now I want to get the back end. I will do the same way we, did for the front end. I'll come here to create a folder. Let me call it the back end. I'll call it back end. I know this video is going to take our time, but it's something that, what's our time. So now we have the back end. Remember, I'll come here to create a new terminal because I have the folder called the back end. I will create the directory and I'll call it back end. So once I click on enter, now I want to, have my backend. I will come here to say npm init. As remember, we have our our node. So we are using the node for the backend. That's the node.js. So once I click on enter, it will take some time. Take some time. It's coming out. I don't want to pause this video, I want you to see how every little thing works here. So now I will tap on my enter button again, enter button until it gets to where my folder is. See, click on enter. You see now I have my backend um, um, folder. Now we have our back end running. If I come here and check, you will see now that I have my package dot JSON file in our um, back end folder. So now there are some dependencies we need to install so that we can really run this our backend. And one is first of all, let me um, create a file. I'll call the file index.js. Hope I'm spelling it correctly. You see, I did not spell correctly. Let me delete it. You can name it whatever you want, but I want to give it the name called index.js. New file, call it index.js. So I have the index.js file. This is actually where we are going to be running our code in the back end. So I'll come here to install what we call the node.js. Node.js simply means in a situation whereby we have a bug or we have bugs in our application. So if we attempt the bug, node.js will refresh our page all by itself because you don't need to start coming back to our terminal to say npm node.js. That's to refresh our page. That will give us, as in that will be stress to us. All we just need to do is to save our code and it will refresh. That's the work of the node. So what else are we going to install? I will install the Express, and we'll also install course. Course is just like a course. It's just like I'm going to put it now. From the back end, send an information to the back end. Sorry, from the front end, send an information to the back end that, okay, we want to, maybe it's a post, if we are posting something to our back end, the information will get across from the back end to the front end. That's the work of our course. So now we are going to, what else are we going to install? I think we should, for now, these are the things we are going to be installing. So if I click on enter, it will give me a blog. So what I need to do is to say npm install, I'll call it node. I'm going to install Express. I'm still going to install the course. So I'll click on enter. So it will take some time to, install these things. It's going to take some time. I think I should pause the video because I don't want it to be very long. So once I finish installing, I will come back to our program. I think it's even working faster. I think so. So okay. Yes, we have everything installed. So what are we going to do? Hold on. Let me delete this. So what are we going to do next? Now we have, if you come to our package.json, we have the node express and course. So now, since I don't want to, anytime I want to refresh my page, I don't want to be using the node.js or blah, blah, blah. I'll come here to say, whenever I want to start my scripts, I want to use, I want it to, once I save it, it will rerun automatically. So I'll say starts, I'll call it starts is equals to, then I'll call my node mode and my index. Remember, I created an index.js file. I'll say index.js. Now our node mode is working. I'll save it and I'll come to our index.js file. So I will bring down our express that we installed. I will call it express to require. I will use the express. So I have my express. I will also do the course. So, I'll call it course. Just the same way you can call it any name which to call it. So require. Remember, we have the course. So now our what we install as initialize it here. So now what I need to do is saying my app that I want to use. So app dot use what we want suppose. So I've used the course here. So in our express also, I'll come here to say sorry. Right? No, I don't need this. Sorry, I don't know where this thing came out from. Yeah, I'll say dot. Oh, sorry, let me say course app was express. So now I have my app. So now I can use my app. So let me use my phone here. So now I will use the app listing. App listing. Now I want to get my ports. This gets in. It's really not right. I think I will see. So now what's my ports? I'll say 3000 and let me call it 2. And let me see. Let me say let me console that. Let's see if it's working. Works 3002. Let's see, it's working. So okay, let me start my program. See if it's working. See, I have cannot find express. That means I didn't spell the express. Ex- Be sure I will see it here now. Expresses. I didn't spell my express, but that's why. As you can see, the work of node mod, it's instead of me to come to our terminal to click on this node.js, I'll just come here to say I just put my node mod here. Once I once I have bug and I you know fix the bug, once I save it, it will you know come up automatically. So now we have our ports running on 3002. So now let's go deeper. So this is what I want to do. I want to use the sequelize. In fact, what I'm going to, our database that we're going to be using will be the MySQL. Yes, we can use any other database. They are all the same thing. Even the NodeMon, the MySQL, the difference between them is that one is a new and the other one. You can, uh, you can Google the difference between the both of them, but they are all database where you can store in your data. So what I'm going to do, I will install my SQL. So people call it MySQL. I do call it my SQL. So my SQL2. Then what else do I want to install? I want to install my sequelize. SQ sequelize and what again? I think let me install this. Oh, sorry, I didn't use. I'm very, very sorry about this error. I didn't put my npm to install. SQL SQLite. So I'm installing MySQL and sequelize. So once it's, I think we should just have patience on this. The network is very, very fast and it's, you know, installing is very fast. So we should just have patience. So now we have our MySQL, which we are going to use for our database. And we also have the sequelize because I'm going to be using the sequelize. Now, what I'm going to install again is a sequelize CLI init. Yes, the reason why I'm going to use my sequelize CLI init, you will see once it's installed, I'm going to show you the reason why we installed the sequelize CLI. So it's coming up, so can install that. npm install CLI. So we are installing it. If you doing the back end, it's okay, it's fine, But if you are going for a job interview or you're going to seek for a job, um, I don't think they will want to employ you as a back-end developer or the front-end developer. You have to know the front end, even if you don't have, even if you don't know the back end really, you can have idea on what the back end is all about. So now we've installed our sequelize unit, but I haven't seen, hold on, it should be the sequel. It's like I just spell well. Let me see again. Let me see my sequelize and then see. I think, let me see. I think I didn't spell the, let me check. Sequelize. Spell very well. Okay. Sequelize. Spelled very well, but I don't know why I haven't seen the sequelize in it. Sequelize, CLI. Or maybe I should come. I should install it globally. I think that's the problem. Let me see first. Oh, okay. I think they no longer use npm. Oh, okay. Let me do it. Let me do this. I think it's now npx. I'll check. I'll check first. Let me check this first. Let me see the blue value. Just see. If it doesn't work, that means it's like this. If it doesn't work, it's not here even. I think they are running on npx. So I'm gonna uninstall this. Uninstall. I'm coming. I'm coming. Uh, uh, um, I want to uninstall these things so that I'll have. Let me uninstall this also. Or no, I'll say npx. And so equalize equalize CLI units. Oh, as morning I'm waiting. Video. However, I think around you not review the okay, okay, wait on. All right. For no reason, I don't know why this my CLI is not working. But let me pause the video. Let me see what the problem is. I'll be back. For no reason, I I don't know why this thing refuses to install, but I've actually installed it just the way I was doing it before. But I don't know why the thing didn't, you know, install it initially. So it's just a simple npx. I told you it's like they no longer use the npm. So it's like they are now using the npx. So as you can see, this is where I copied it from. Where's it again? This is where I copied it from. That's the npx sequelize CLI init. And this is why we are using the sequelize CLI. This is it. Like if you come to our configure, this is what you see in our configure to tell you that this is what we want to use. That's the MySql, database. You can also use any other database in the sequelize CLI, but I am using the database. And another thing that you need to install on your computer is the MySQL, um, MySQL. That's the database that we are going to be using. So after you download it, then you install it on your computer. I have it already, so I don't want to start, installing, download and installing. It will, make this tutorial very, very, very long. So it's something you can do on your own, just to install it, check for the the preferred one that will suit your computer. Then once you download it, then you install it. Once you install it, you have what we call the workbench. The workbench is where you create a schema where you have your rows of items or columns that you want to use. So now I have my SQL already. So I'll come here, let me bring it out. Call it my SQL workbench. So I have my SQL workbench already. So all I need to do, don't worry, once it comes up, it's coming up. Once it comes up, I will click on the local instance MySQL, then I'll put my password here. So once I put this is my password. So I have where I want to put my data. So now my data, don't mind all these um, schemas. These are the ones that I have used in my past jobs. So now what do we want to you know to use? So we will create a schema, and let's call it I think we should call it React tutorial, but React tutorial is okay. Or React according to back edge. Yes, I think that one is okay. So now we have created our schema, then I will apply. So I will apply and save. As you can see now, we have it here. That's the React tutorial back end. So what are we going to do next? What are we going to do next? We will come to our back end in our code. Then I think we don't need this migration. I don't need it. I'm going to delete it because I don't need it. I'm just an empty file or folder rather. So yeah, I will leave this model because I have my index.js here again. So I'll come here. I don't need the cedar. It's also an empty folder. So let me delete it. Don't need it. So now I have this. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to remember we have our database called what's the name we call it? We call it React Tutorial Backend. Yes, we have our React Tutorial Backend. Let's see if it's the correct spelling. React Tutorial Backend. Because if the spellings are wrong, there won't be information, as in it will not get to our back end. I mean, it will not get to our database. That's my SQL. So here I'm going to use localhost. And for the password, I will pause this video, then I'll put my password because you're not meant to see my password, and I'm not blowing it. It would have been better I blowed it, but I think I will pause this video because I'm not going to use this particular page anymore because we've done what we are out to do in this page. So there's no need for me to blow it because I won't be coming back here again. So, but all you need to do, your password should be the one you use in your MySQL when you are installing your MySQL. Yes, like the one you use to, log in. That's the one you will use. So I'm going to pause this video, then I'll put my password, and I'll come back when when I'm done putting my password. Yes, I've done that. If you hoping you're gonna see it, I bet you will not see it because it's a very, very vital information. Anybody can log into your database, but there are things like once they log in, even if they get your password to your database, there's security I will show you in the maybe in the next tutorial where we'll be using our .env to um, decrypt these things, even our password also. So we'll be using bcrypt for that. But in putting this into and the our config.js, we are going to use .env. Yes, I'm going to teach you that in our next tutorials. That's the security aspect of everything that we are going to be doing. After that one, I'm going to, integrate the payment method. I think that should be the last thing we are going to be doing in this tutorial, to integrate. Okay, yes, after integrating, in fact, we can't integrate without, deploying to the server. Yes. Yeah. We'll deploy to the server first before we integrate, or we integrate. It will work. It will work. So let's continue. So now we have everything done. So what else do we need? Now we need to create a folder. I'll call it, what name should I call it? I'll come to inside of our model. Let me collapse this. I'll call it, should I use post here? Post is preferable. I'll use post. Post.js. So now we have the post. So what are we going to do? I will say module module.export export. Then what do we want to use now? We want to use sequelize. Our data type should also be node. So I'll come here to say data type. Our data type, then I'll use the sequelize. Sorry. Yes. So now we have our um our post running. So what do I want to do now? I'll say I'll call it a post is equals to I'll use a sequelize. But I'll define it. Yeah. I would say now that I've defined it in our database, what name do we want to use for our table? I'll call the name of our table should be post. Now we want to what do we want to do now? We want to put our names of whatever we want in our table. Remember in our let me come here. In our cards, we want to okay now it's saying the card the same thing. We want to, as we are posting it to where the user can see their cards or can see the items that they are buying. We also want to post it to our back end where we can get the information of whatever our user is buying. So if you can remember, we have the image, we have the price, we have the quantity, we have the delete, and we have the total. So what I need to do here is, I will say, I don't need the photo because we don't need the photo. All we just need is the ID. So once we get the ID, once we have the ID, we know which photo. If I don't need the photo, we can use the name to get the product, to get the information that the user is talking about because it's our application. We don't need, because if we want to start using the photo or putting the photo inside, we will use what we call the Cloudinary to transfer the pictures to the Cloudinary. It will be messed up because we have millions of users. That's not necessary. That in fact we don't need it. So now I will come here to say what name should I call it? I'll call it products name. I'll call it this way. Product name. Then what is the data type that we want to use here? We'll say product name. I think first of all, okay, let's continue here. I'll say I'll call it I'll I've forgotten this thing I've done. Uh, 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 uh. Man, it's something I think. Yeah, sorry about that. So now, yeah, I think this is smaller. So I'll come to say this thing is very, very, you know, it's been long did something like this, but I understand now. I know what I'm doing. So now I'll come here to say data data is equals to um, data type. So, so first data type string, then I'll come here data. Let me just use it like this. So now I I went to pick this thing up from one of the websites. So I told you before that it's not easy to cram all these things, but when you know what you're doing, so all you just need to do is go into maybe some applications, no, sorry, some websites, then copy these things and put here. So now I have this. So what I'm going to do now is I want to copy. So we need what do we call this now? After the name, we need the count. Mm, Let me call it counter. So now we have the counter. I think we should use the numeric. Let me see something. I'll call it I'll call this, let me see, um data tag for MySQL. Okay, MySQL. I want to see something. I want to use the numeric. Bam, 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 bam. The network is kind of slow. I want to use the long terms. Okay. Numeric, integer, written, size. Okay. So I'll use the numeric for my count because it's all about the numbers. So I'll come here and create that. Oh, oh, oh. Mm, mm, So look at what am I doing? So now we have the numeric. It's not what? Numeric. Man. Okay. It's spelled well. So now after that, what else do we need again? What other information? Because this is the count. Once the user counts, you know, from the front end, we also get it in our back end to know how many stuffs we are buying. So I need ID for it. Call it ID. I'll call it my ID should be in string because I have long ID. So I'll call this string. So I have my ID. I'll come here to say item ID. Item ID. So what else do we need? What else do we need? What else do we need? I think we need the product name, counter, ID, and what else? I think this is all for it because what we need is the user, the name of whatever the user is buying, the counting, and the item ID. Yes. So it's okay. Maybe if we need any other stuff, we'll come back and fix it. So now we have this. So what I'm going to do now is I'll come to our index here. I'll come here to say, okay, I want to import, sorry, I made a mistake here. I did not, let me remove this. I would have come here to say, since I've imported it, I will return our post. So now we've done the post. So now I'll save it. So I'll come here to import our model. So I'll say const, let me call it I'll call it data database, okay, equals to require one. I want to bring it now. I'll come use the name. It should come up. It's models. Yeah. So I have models here. So what else do I need? I need now to come here to say our database dot sequelize dot is sync then promise. Yeah. So come here and put it inside of here. I know some people are tired. We haven't started yet. This is just the startup. So now once we save it, then we start. Yeah. Now we'll go to our MySql, then Let me refresh. Remember, the name of our um, schema is the table did not appear on why. Okay, let me see. It's saying define post. Okay, that means here we are having problem here. Let me give it a it's the same sequelize dates. I'll get back. Okay. Yeah, I know it. Yeah, that's good. The problem, you know, was coming from. I've solved it, but let me show you. Yeah, I'm not supposed to put this here. I'm sorry about that. This is how it should be. So once I save it, see, I have my error wiped out. So I will come back here to my schema. Let me refresh it. You see now we have our post table. So let's see. You see we have the product name, counter, item ID. I think these are the only thing we need for now. But something inside of me is saying there's another thing we're supposed to use as in another um, column. But as time goes on, I'll know what to use next. So now we have this columns. So what do we want to do now? This is where we'll start the main coding. So now what I'm gonna do now is I'll let me create a folder. I'll call it let me call it table code. So I'll call this I'll call it post. Let's use post code. Post.js. Let me call it post code. You can name it whatever you want. So now I have this. So now that I have this, what I want to do now is remember the reason why I don't want to code here. It's because I can equally code here. I can equally code here, but I I don't want to mess up this area because we're gonna be doing so many routing, you know. So I don't want to mess up here. That's why I'm having a new page here. So what I'm going to do now is I'll come to our index file, then I'll import it as a const, let me call it postcode. I'll say was to require table code, and I have the percentage. So now I'll come here to use it. I'll say app use. So first of all, I'll look for the routing name. I'll call it let's say, let me call it post item. One minute to use my post name. So now I have this done. So now let's go back to our real what's it called, the postcode. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to still use the express or sequence express is equals to the 20 while express express. So now I've gotten the express. So sequence router, let me call it router, is equals to my express router. So now what I want to do now, I'll say movie dot exports was to router. So now we have our page running. So I'll come here now. I want to use the post method. Yeah, I want to post now. I'll say, okay. Let's say router the post. I'll call it, what name did we give here? I just want to differentiate. Take a post item. I'll say post. I'm sorry. Let me see. I'm gonna call it post. Then because we are using sequelize, I think we should use the async. Let's see. I'll use the red and the rest. Let's. So now what do we want to do now? We want to post whatever our user is buying to our database. So now what I'm going to do, because every item has an ID, yes, because they have an ID, I'm going to use the params. I haven't taught you about the params, but it's a very good thing you know about it. I'll teach you maybe one of these days, but just get the gist of what I am doing. I'll say ID. So now I'll come here to say, remember we have um, the, let me see again. We have the product name. We can call it whatever we want. Let's call it products. Whatever we are using here is what we use in our front end. So just to remember the names that you are using. So I'll call it products. I'll call it item ID. Or let me say product ID. What is need counter, yes, I'll call it counter, and I'll say is equals to our rec the body. So we have this. Now there's something that we need to import, which is this. I got to import it to our post code. They actually, okay, they don't have it. That's I want to import our post to our post code. So I'll say const equals require sorry I it is we have it in model and the post. So I'll come here to say post. That's the name called post. No, let me see. Is the post. Sorry. Post. So now we have the post. So what are we gonna do next? What we are going to do is call. Okay, we need to call our ID also. Suppose um very sorry, I'm not supposed to do this yet. I'll come here to say products ID is equals to like its params. So now we have this again. So I want to post it. I'll say const, let me call it post items is equals to hope I don't have like this thing. I'll use the await since I'll use the AC await post dot what do I want to do now? I will say create. Now that I'm creating, I know somebody is saying, oh Jesus, this thing is very, very long, but that's how the backend works. So now remember we have you spell it the way it is here or this place because this is where we got all this from. So is it that I come here to look at the spellings or I come here to look at the spellings and make sure the spellings are correct. But what I'll do is I'll copy all this so that I won't miss out the spellings. So I'll say now I have this is equals to I'll call it product. Now I'll come here the product ID, what name we use for the product ID. I call it item ID. See, item ID is equals to the product ID. Then the counter, what name did we call the counter here? We call it counter, okay. It's a counter is equals to so now we want to post it to our database. I'll come here to say let's dot. Should I send or I should use the JSON, but they are still the same thing. But what I'm going to use for the start, I'm going to use, I can say res.json. I'll call my post item. I can still use this one. I can still use the send header. So any which one you choose is to use. So now I have everything okay. But before I go back to our front end, because these things we are going to use the post method in our front end, but before I use it, first I have what we call the API tester. Yes, you use the tester to test if the API is working. You know, that's the best way to practice. First of all, you check if the API is working. If the API is working, then we are free to go to our backend. That's we'll know where the problem is coming from, even if we are having bug. So now I will save it. I want to check. So I'll come here to the stats. So I have the API tester. What I'm using is Postman. They have a lot of them. Any which one you want to use, you can use it. So I'll come here, Postman. We're only to connection that was shown. Okay. I'm waiting for our Postman to come up. Your our Postman is up. So it's coming up. So it's taking time. I know the video is taking time, but we just got to, be patient. So now we have our API. So what I want to do now is to put now we are doing the post method. So what I will do is using the HTTP equals / localhost 3000. What's our port? Let me see again. Our port is 3002. Equals to 3002 / Let's see. What is our, we have the post item. And now, yeah, post screen. We have the posts. Now, our ID, remember, we have ID here. What I'm just doing, I'm just trying to test the API if it's working. So let's use this ID. Let's post this ID. So I will also come here to use the body. Then I will make it font data raw. I'll come here to use the JSON. Then I'll say, remember what we have here. The reason why I'm very slow is because I want you to understand every bit of what I'm doing. If I was the one doing, maybe I'm working on a project, I would have been, faster than this. But I want you to get every single thing that I am teaching you here. So now, remember, this is where some people, you know, do or have bots. So I'll come here, remember the products copy. I'll come here to say products is equals to, sorry, is a JSON function. I'll say products is equals to, let me just say the product is equals to Abala. Abala. So what else? The counter, let's call the counter. How many plates of amala do we want? I'll say we want 3 portions of amala. So I'll say I need okay, I need 3. This should be the numeric. So I have 3 portions of amala. So once I save it, remember this is the ID of amala. So once I send it, let's see, we have bug. So let's come here to see what the problem is. It said product of revenue is undefined. Why is it undefined? Products. That means it's like products. You can come, let me put down product counter. I think I think we should make these things on their own. And so we are having problem. I don't edit videos. I always make sure we work things out together. Products. Yes, products. Products. And let me see products. I'll call it this one content. Okay, let me save it. See, let's see again if it will work. Send. And let me pause the video. Let me know what the problem is. I will get back in a short time. It was something else. Well, it took me a couple of minutes to fix this, the bug rather. The problem was I used the um, small letter instead of the capital letter. I'm very sorry about that. This is it. When you're coding, you definitely need both. The ability to fix it is, what makes you a programmer. So I'm sorry about that. I made a mistake. This is it. This post here, I wrote it with capital letter. I thought it was a small letter that I used. Actually, I was like, where did I go wrong? Trying to see. But I actually, I came to this place and I saw that I have the letters misspelled. Not even misspelled, rather the count case is bigger than the small one and the what we have in our postcode. So sorry about that. Once I save it, let me show you. Really, really sorry about that. That's why you need a tester, to know where exactly the problem is coming from, be it from the back end or from the front end. Now that we've tested it here, it's working. So we need to, go back to our front end to, let me show you something. This is my you see, my database. You see, let me remove it. Delete row, apply, finish. So let me go back to our API tester. As you can see, this is our ID, and this is our product name. We call it Amala. In case you don't know what Amala is one of my favorites. Yeah. And the counter is 3. So once I send it, let's see. Once I send it, you see, we have the ID. It's saying we have ID of 2. That's the ID from our database. That's mySql. Now the product name is Amala. The item ID is 560, what we have here. And the counter is 3. This one is updated at, if you want to remove this one, you can remove this one. But I always like using it because sometimes I, also use time to do my program. So now I have this working. Once I come to my database here, I refresh it to see now I have ID2, Amala, the name of the product name. The counter is 3, item ID 560. So now we are through with the back end. So let's go back to our front end. Yes, now we are back in our front end. Let me collapse the back end. Now we are back in our front end. If you can remember, we have our context context.api where we write our codes coming out in this one. There's something I want to take up. Okay, now let's come to our context.api. So as the user clicked on whatever item they are buying, we want to send these things to the back end. So what we are going to install now, we are going to install what we call the Axios. 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 So it's installing. So I'll come here and install the Axios. I'll say import. Axios. Is installing. It's still installing. It's taking too much time. Why? So we have our Axios in start. We have our Axios. So I'll come here where we have our add to carts. So after we've changed our states, I want it to be sent to our database. So I'll say Axios. So I'll come here. I'll come here to say Axios. Axios dot posts. And I will use the backticks because I want to get the ID. So this is a post method. Let me copy everything that we have here because this is the address that we are going to be using. I'll paste it. I'll remove here. This here, I will use the $sign to get our ID. Remember, we have the ID. So I'll say dot. Then this is a promise that whenever I don't know why this thing is, my network is failing me right now. It's sorry about it. It's the network is failing, so I had to change to my other network. So as I was saying, I will come here where I have my add to carts, then I have my Axios.post. So this was where our network broke down. So I'll say response. So I'll say if if there's response dot data, then I'm consuming, let's see, I'm consuming, let me call it sent 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 to database. Should I make it one word? Database. Else, it's also consumer with, I would say, data notes related. Hello? I call the guy in saying go soon the shop, say around like 10 English. So I'll go meet him by 10. Sorry for that break. I had a call. So now I have this. But if I send this post request to the back end, I'll have error because um I already have, let me show you something. I have the product name and the counter. You understand? So it will break because I don't have it in our backend. Just as the way I did it here, I did it manually here. So if I come here to send a post request to the backend, it will give me a bug. So I need to define, I need to define it. I need to define the counter and also define the product name. So now, how am I going to define it? I'll come outside of our post request. I'll say const, what name now should I give it? I'll call it, okay, let me still call it a products, spell product equals to, if you remember the way we did it the last time, I'll call it products. Okay. The reason why it is giving me the line is because I already have product here, so they are contradicting each other. So I'll call it back end products. Back end products. It's equals to the, I'll call my products. I think the name is product dots. What name did we call it here? I think it's called name of food. So I'll come here to put the dot name of food and what do the count also. I'll come here to call it counter. Oh, sorry. Counter is equals to the dot it's count. Remember, our count here is equals to 1. You have it. So now I will come here to define it. I'll say, what do we have here in our backend? I'll call it, it's called product name. So I'll say product name is equals to backend products. the counter should be, I think, is equals to still the same counter. The way we experience backend counter is equals to counter. So now we can, use our project from here. So once I save it, why is it giving me? Sorry. So now, once I save it, I want to going on. So when we come to our project, now the cat is empty. Expect it. So now let's see if it's working. Once I add to cards, let me see. Oh, we have error. Let me see what the error is. I hate this thing, right? Oh, the post. Name of people, name of fish. But then response. Why is it giving me error? HTTP router. Are you sure I spelled this thing correctly? Count. Oh, now I'm trying to see what the problem is. Why shouldn't have? Let me go back to the bracket. Let me see. The name I used. Oh, sorry. Sorry. I'm supposed to use this. Sorry, hold on. I don't know why I'm doing these silly mistakes. Sorry, I'm supposed to put here, not the one inside of the one in not this one we use. I'm sorry about that. That's why we have a bug. Let me see again if it comes back. Okay. Now we'll save it. Yeah, I think now it will work. Let me see. I will add it. It's still giving me no. Let me reach network error. Why? It oh, I don't know why I'm having this error, but I think I'm on the right direction, but I don't know why. Let me go back to let's see. HTTP localhost 3002 post item and post the ID. Yes. Go back in. Then respond since. Why is it giving my the scan spirit of scan here? I have put on the name of food. Is product back and product counter. I don't know why I'm having a problem, but I think I should start this because I know I am on the right. Let me refresh this. Right. I think the problem is from React. Oh, I'm sorry. I did not, after that bug, I did not, you know, refresh my back end. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Mm, I did not refresh my back end. I'm sorry. It will work now, definitely, because I know I'm on the right direction. So, can you see the back end? The back end is working now. Mm, like, no, I don't want to. So my back end is working. Let me go to my front end. My front end is also working. So let me see. Let me refresh the page. Yeah. So let me click. Wow, it's working now. It's working. I didn't refresh the back end. So I'm sorry. I've been saying I'm sorry. But I'm still saying I'm sorry. So now we have this. We have, let me use the butter fish. We have chicken grilled. We have macaroni. So once we come to our, so we have these items. So once I come to my, remember we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Once I come, let me delete this. Delete. Remember I have 4 items. So these are the 4 items that I have in my front end. So as the person that develops the application, once the user, you know, buys anything that the user clicked on the front end. So now I'm here seeing it on the back end. So now what else do we want to do now is to do our update the counter. Oh, now I remember. I didn't put the price. You see, I just know that there's something I did not put. So now I'll come here to put the price. Sorry. I'll put the price here. Something was just telling me I need to add something to it. I don't need to put the price. Right. Let me call it price. I think price should also be numeric. Okay. First, I want to remove the posts. I'll come here to say drop table. I'll drop in everything. Let me delete it here. So now we will have price on our table. Okay. So now you see everything. Let me refresh. Alright. Yeah, I'm supposed to have it. Price. So now I have, you see now we have price here. So let me come to the backend. Okay, let me say one. Oh, sorry. There's something I did not put the price. That's why I'm sorry about it. Also, I'll come here. Let me first of all. Let me put the price here. I'll come here and see what get. I'll come here to call it price. Price. Put product price. Price. So I'll come here to say I'll use price is equals to product price. So once back in here, I'll put price here. Remember, so that we won't make the same mistake. We have price. Yeah, this is its price. So call it price. Then I'll come here to say what do we have here? We have price here. I'll say price is equals to price. So once I say this, you'll see now it will take our error out. It will take our error out. So let me see. We don't have any tracks anymore. So I'll take it inside. Why? What's going on? Message error. I one of these. Okay, I didn't do by mistake. Sometimes you get frustrated, man. But just know what you're doing. You understand? Once you know what you're doing, you conquer and relieve frustration. So now let's see. It will wipe out the refresh. I think it will work now. Yes, it's working. So two macaroni, chicken grilled. This is my delicious Sunday chicken. So I have 5 items inside of my cart. So once I come here, you see we have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So with the ID, item ID, the price. So now The video is long, I know, but it's something that worth it. So now we are done with, sending these things to our backend. Now we want to update it because if the user like want to buy this butterfish, you don't want the user, just as the way as I explained on the back end. So once the user is buying maybe like two butterfish, it doesn't need to go back to doesn't need to go back to the application again or start going around and around here. So all the user needs to do is to click on that particular button where we have the increase and the decrease. If you can remember, one of the this thing that we did. So once the user increases the item of whatever he or she is buying, we will also get it in our back end. Yes. So now we are going to do what we call the update. Yes, that's to update it. So this is what we are going to do. So let me go back to here. We have this code, and I'll call this put is a put method as a cons no sorry I'll say router the put. So let me give it a router. I'll call it say update. Okay, let me call it update. So update, I still need to give it an ID. So I'll come here to basically is I'll use the rec and the response. So now we have this. So what are we going to do? What do we want to update? First, we want to update the counting, and we also want to, I think is okay, the counting and the price. Yes. So, we should still put total. Maybe put total. Okay. You see, now that we are almost done, ideas are coming in. So now I want to put the total here. I'll come to say add total. I'll say total is equals to total. When you come here and we remove the post, delete the table. I'm removing it. So I'll come here. I want to put the total. Total. Save it. I'll also save this one. So I'll come. So then let me put the total. Let's see. Total. Total was to Total. Remember, our total is equals to the price. So initially, these are add to cards, if you can remember. So I'll come here to say, I think I used total, so it's equals to total. So I think it's done as it will work. So no need to go back to this thing again. So let's face our updating. So I will come here and I will say, first, I want to update this. What do I want to update? I want to update the total, and still going to update the counts. So I'll do the same thing as well. The body, and I'll call it the same ID as say, what did I do this? This one. Let me call it update ID. It's and equals to request that your parameters ID. So now we are good to go. So I will come here because I want to update this thing. I will say, let me call it product updates. Equals to rate, then the user post dots. I'll call it updates. So what are we updating? We are updating the total. I think what we have here, the name of what we have there is also total. Let me see the total. So I'll say total is equals to total. And which other thing are we updating? We are updating the counts. So now we can update where the ID is equals to, that's the, what name did we call it? Yeah, we call it the item ID. We say item ID is equals to update ID. So I'll say res.json. JSON is equals to product dot update. Now let's try the same way we did for our post. So we are going to use this API again. So what's the name of our updates, we call it updates. Date. Then let's see the ID of, okay, since we don't have ID, um, the um, let's do this here. One, two, three, we have two here. So let's update this butterfish. So let's take the ID here. Come here, it's here. So I will remove this. It's not necessary any longer. What we want to update. Then let's say I want, you can see initially the counter is 1. So I want to update it to 2. Or let's leave it as 3. So once I send this thing, let's see if it's working. Wow, it's not working. That means there's an error here. Let me see what the error is all about. It's actually not an error. I think I need to start it again. It's actually not an error. It's sorry. I made a mistake. I should have used the um, put method. So once I send it, it's taking time. It's not supposed to take time like this. It's taking time. Let me see. It's taking time. It's not supposed to take time like this. Let me refresh my page. Yeah. Okay. Let me do it again. It's giving me bug. Why? What is this saying? It's saying oh, to this to yeah, I made a mistake. I didn't put for total. Yeah. Sorry about all this. That's why we need this kind of tutorial so that you get roles being treated. I didn't put this total, I only used the counts. Sorry. I'll come here to say counts. No, total. I think it's total. Total is equals to, let's say, how much is, let me just give it any figure, I guess. So I'll call it 70,000. Sorry. But it's just to test our API to see if it's working. So I'll send it. It's still giving me response. Why? Why? We are missing the attribute in the option parameter. Yes. So that I think I have Twitter here. Counter 3, item ID. I think it's first one, updates ID. Yes, I have the update ID here. So let me consolidate this. You know, I don't know why this thing will come, but definitely will conquer. It's just a normal thing. My Twitter, let me see what I have, the data type I have for my Twitter. Let me see. It's numeric here. Price is also numeric. Count. Okay. So let's see. Wow, man, I'm having bug. Let me pause the video. I'll come back. Yeah, I I've solved it. I made some silly mistakes. I'm very, very sorry. I am supposed to use where, you know, where the item ID, the one we have in our database, is equals to this one here. So I didn't use the where. I'm sorry about that. So once we come here, let me let me update the count to 6. Once I send it, see it's working now. So if you come here, let me see. Now our counter is 6 and our total is 7,000 naira. So the backend is working fine. So let's take this aggression to let's take it to the back, I mean to the front end. So I'm really, really, really angry. These are things that I'm not supposed to even be posting the video and to show you the bug before showing you the bug rather, but it's just like that. I don't want the video to be too long. Already it's already long. So that's why I needed to pause the video and I will excuse me. Hello? Alpha, can I call you back, please? Just so let's go back to our front end. So now front end here, where we have the um, increase button. I will come here to say Asios. That's oops. Let me copy what we have here. So I will say that okay. I still do the same. We reduce add to cards. see if there's response to data. What do I want to do here? I'll say item updated. Else I'll just call this error. So now I will also do the same thing here. I'll call this once. I'll say counter updates is equals to product counts. Product counts and comes total updated. Products product price times product counts. Product counts. So I'm coming here to say, I'll say, what do we have? What do we call it? Total and just counts. Okay, total counts. I'll say, here's mine. I'll say, total is equals to total updated, and my counts is equals to enter updated. Let's go with updated. Why is it not showing? Total updated. Total updated. Counter updated. So we have our counter and total updated. So as I say it, let me see, let me come back to this to see if we okay. Yeah, let's see this. Let's see it. Let me remove this so that we can start from refresh. Get it through, apply, finish. Let's go back. Let me see if I have anything inside of my card. I don't have anything inside of the cards. So let me add this to the cards. I'll also add this to the cards. I'm adding this also, and I'm adding this also. So let's see if we have it in our database. We have it already here. So let me come to my cards and see if the update is working. So see, it's working, it's working, it's working. So if I come to my database, remember, let me see, our battlefish has been updated inside of our database. So this video is getting too long, but very, very interesting. So I want to do something. I don't want to do the decrease. You can also do the decrease. You can do the decrease yourself, just the same way I did for, the, what's it called? The increase button. You can also do the same thing. Go to the back end, apply the same formula that I used, then come here and also apply this same formula. So the decrease and the decrease will work. It's just the opposite of it. So because of time, I won't do the decrease button. So what I will do now is the delete button. So I will come to our backend and somebody's already yawning, saying, man, this video is long, man. This is just for, updating. So I will say router, I think what I will use is delete. Then I'll call it delete. Then I'll use the ID again. So I'll use only the async and sync, and I'll use the right plus right and less right. So what do I need to do now? All I need to do now is to delete a single item from our chart. So once I delete it in the front end, it will also be deleted in the end. So I will come to sequence and I want to delete item. I will say is equals to request dot params dot id. So all I need to do is to say, because I'm using an AC function, I'll say await then post dot destroy. Destroy, what are we destroying? We'll destroy where um what's our ID now? We'll call it counter. No, sorry. Let me see our ID. Item ID. Say item ID is equals to delete item at this point. Well, that doesn't mean as long as, but let me just spell what for reference purpose. The man, I spelled very wrong. Let's then I'll come here to say okay, delete item. So let me send it to press notes. Yes, it's JSON. I'll just say item deleted. Okay, so let's see. We're still going to use our API tester to see if it's working. So, continuing with items, let's come here to say let's use the delete function. Let me look for which one to delete. Let me look for this ID. Okay, of macaroni. Let's delete macaroni. Say macaroni ID. Then no need to write anything. Let me send item deleted. Wow, it's working. So let me refresh. Remember, we are deleting macaroni. You see, we don't have macaroni here any longer. That means our API is working perfectly. So I'll come back to our back end. Right? I'll come back to the back end. And I mean, sorry, to the front end rather. And I'll use our API. I'll call it access delete. And let me copy the address. Use the boxes. And remove this ID. $sign. ID. So say then the promise. Say the recipe. And we say if response there's response it's the item has been deleted. Once we also log and we get so let me save it. Let me actually remove this one also. Okay, and we'll go back to this is where we are going to stop this video. My next video we'll be talking about, we are going to deploy these things. So once you deploy, you're not going to have only one user. You have several users, in fact, millions, thousands of users using your application. So now at the back end, you need these things to come to your back end. As you need whatever the user or whatever the users are buying, you'll be seeing it on your back end. That simply shows that you have a lot of users using your application. So now your user buying these things, you need to differentiate your users. Like, let's say Emmanuel bought mango, blah, 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 XYZ. Emeka bought chicken, macaroni, and the rest. So for you to know what Emeka is buying and what Michael or the rest are buying is to also give them an ID of, you know, of Emeka. You give Emeka an ID so that you will know whatever Emeka is buying. And you also know whatever Chinoye is buying, or you know whatever these or these are buying. So you give them an ID. That's for the next video. So now before you give the user an ID, the user needs to register, register with your application. That's where you get the user ID. But that will be in our next tutorial. So let's see what we've done so far. So now I have 3 items in our cards. I also have it here in database. So let's see. Once I update this, it gives me 12,000. Let's see inside of our. See. It didn't update. Butterfish did not update. Why? Butterfish did not update. Let's see why. What's the reason? Let me see why the thing did not update. Supposed to update here. Increase. Okay. So now it's supposed to update. Why? Whether it was count. Okay. Maybe I did not give space. That could be the reason. And this price times. Let's see again. It's of the image. Let me see again. See, article, articles. So I have 4 items. Let me update it. Let me see first. See, I have 4. Let me update the locally. Let me see 2, 3, 13,500. Let me see. Why is it not updating? That place. Yeah, I made a mistake, very silly mistake. Actually, it's not even a mistake, it's just error from my key, I guess, because I spelled tuta. How am I going to pronounce it? T-O-T-A, but I didn't have the L. That was why it did not updated initially, but now it's working fine. As you can see, this is 1,002. Let me update the chicken. That's 1,500. Let me 2. It should be 3. Okay, 30,000. Let me see. if we have the 30,000 here. Yes, we have the 30,000 here. It is updating rather. So let's see if our remove item is also working. So I want to remove this. Once I remove, let's see if we still have it in our database. Remember, you greet chicken, and you see the great chicken is no more. So that's that for this video. We'll see you in our next video. This video really took our time, but it's worth it. I promise you that it's worth it. So please, if this video is very helpful to you, please kindly subscribe. When you're seeing it on YouTube while on Facebook, please share, like, and comment. Sorry, I will see you on our next video. Bye-bye.